Hey Gators and sports fans, get all your Gator talk, news, analysis, and opinions on the Pod Up with Matthews in the Morning podcast. Find us on your favorite podcast platform or watch us on Facebook Live between 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. every weekday. Pod Up, because we are Gator fans. So say it's great to be a Florida Gator.
Good morning, and welcome to a Monday edition of Pod Up with Matthews in the Morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. Large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Boy, do we have a lot to talk about today. It's Monday. That means we'll have JC. We'll get his thoughts on what happened over the weekend. Second half of today's program, we'll have Scott Carter from FloridaGators.com kind of recapping what happened in Gator sports over the weekend, kind of give you a rundown of what for the next few days. Obviously, tomorrow's Tuesday. We'll have Buddy Martin. We'll also have Mark Wise from ESPN breaking down bracketology and what will happen. On Wednesday, we'll have JC. We'll also have a new segment we're going to have each week with Trent Whittemore. He's wanting to get into his major is journalism, broadcasting, what have you. So part of his internship is he will be interviewing players, Gator athletes, other athletes from around the country, and he's got Jeremy Crawshaw, our Australian punter, on Wednesday. So there's kind of a next couple of days if you want to put it on your calendar, because I know it's very important for you folks. But anyway, let's go to the Titan Tomorrow hotline, and we're joined by Corn Dog. Good morning, JC. How are you?
Hey, man. Great weekend. The weekend in between the AFC, NFC Championship and the Super Bowl, QB, no football. So it was kind of different, but
wait. We had football.
Oh, we did. That's right.
Hang on a second. So I was going to get to this. All right.
Yes.
I came home from something. I don't know if it was the store or whatever. You know how you turn the TV on? It's on the last channel you were on?
Yeah.
Because I have not watched a Pro Bowl probably since I played.
Yeah.
I just turned it on. I came home from Publix, and I was putting groceries up and just kind of glanced at TV. I go, what in the hell is going on?
They got all dressed
up. It was worse than going to the local park and watching two-hand touch flag football.
I mean,
it was awful.
Why did they wear shoulder pads and things like that? I mean, what was the point of it all? Touch football happening. I guess that's fine. Look, I know why they did it that way, and it makes sense that nobody wants to get hurt, but it's not a game. It's just touch football. Hey, QB, and then you had your guy Kamara. Did you see the news on Alvin Kamara?
I didn't until this morning, because like I told you, usually in the mornings I look at Twitter real quick as I wake up.
Yeah.
So he got arrested?
Yeah, got arrested, charged with battery with some very serious injuries reported to, I guess, somebody that he was involved with. I don't think he was hurt, but he may have hurt somebody. So anyway, that's a nasty story there in Las Vegas. That's kind of a bad thing. But I certainly think that, we're kind of getting to the bittersweet ending of the NFL season, right? And the Super Bowl is upon us. It's the biggest sporting event of the year, clearly. But it also means we've got 8 months of no football or nothing on the horizon.
JC.
Uh-oh.
Well, I guess we got some. Are you back, JC?
Do you see me?
Yeah, your internet went out on me there. I got you now. I don't know what happened there. Technology.
I was just saying 8 months of nothing football related after this weekend. So it's kind of bittersweet. We love the Super Bowl. It's the biggest sporting event of the year. It happens early in the year, kind of like the Daytona 500, I guess, if you're an auto racing fan. And here we are in the Super Bowl, and then there's no football for 8 months, dude. So
yeah, we got a couple Facebook Lives brought to you by Mel. Daniel says, "Shane, you look strange in black and red." This is navy and red. It's not black and red.
Is this orange? Okay.
Clay says the XFL is getting ready to start up. And then Chris says here, he asked, did y'all see Napier's interview with Steve Russell? I believe Napier's the kind of coach Gator Nation may give some time, even if he doesn't win big right away. Humble, down-to-earth dude. Yeah, I didn't see the interview, but he is he knows what he's doing, folks. Just give him time. It's only going to take time. The other thing I wanted to bring up, and I got a couple texts I need to read here, JC. First of all, we got to congratulate the Lady Gators once again.
Oh,
they go on the road and upset the Georgia Bulldogs, who I think were 14th in America. I'll give you some stats here on the Lady Gators. Let me pull it up. They go on the road. They upset number 14 Georgia 54-51 with a comeback win despite 20 turnovers. They've won 7 of 8 with wins over 5 ranked teams. They're now 17-6 overall, 7-3 in conference play.
Huge at-large selection, and the Lady Gator basketball team is quietly becoming the story of Gator athletics right now. And I don't try. That's not an overstatement, because when you consider where this program was to where it is today and where it was before, it is amazing what these girls are doing and what this coach is doing. And I certainly think we've been harping about Kelly Ray Finley. I think that's a formality at this point, but I do think that the story is becoming the story of the year for Gator athletics at this point right now, man. I mean, what's bigger than what these girls are doing, even though they haven't gotten to a postseason? I mean, the teams they're beating, dude, they haven't beaten teams like this in years, and they're making it happen. And so it's really kind of fun. I was going to ask you as we came on, I was going to say, hey, QB, who did the Lady Gators beat this weekend? That was my first question to you. That's who I was going to, because I fully expect them to win games now. And that's just completely 180-degree reversal of what Lady Gator basketball has been about. People didn't even talk about it, didn't think about it. Now you're wondering, who did they beat if you didn't see it? And of course, if you're following it, you're excited now that they're playing. So I'm all in. I'm shoving all in with the Lady Gators, dude. I'm telling you. And the men's team with a nice win on the weekend in overtime. So this has been so far so good in February, bro.
Yeah, we got Georgia coming in here on Wednesday night. Gators do win against Ole Miss in overtime. Didn't play great. We got Castleton back. I firmly believe this. And, everybody has the answers, JC. We're the Monday morning quarterbacks. Right. I feel like this team needs to play chaotic basketball to have a chance of winning games. What I mean by that, if you go back and you watch how they played against Oklahoma State in that big comeback, 16 points down, it was basically watching the YMCA, pressing, full court press, out of control basketball. Because by doing that, it allows us to get easy baskets. If you play half court offense with this crew, it's like they can't score. They cannot score.
It's trouble. Shooting.
I'm not going to sit here and act like I know basketball, but it just the casual observer, that's what I would do if I had this crew. I would just say, we're going to press, and we're just going to make the game as hectic as possible. John says the men's team better beat Georgia's schedule gets real rough after that game. Yes, it does. So
this league this league is rough, man. This league is rough. The SEC is going to have 7 teams maybe get to the tournament. Think about that.
They have 2 teams. They have 2 teams that can win the national title.
Easily. There'll be 1 seeds in all likelihood, possibly, or a 1 and a 2. Let's just do that. Let's say there'll be a 1
Kentucky and Auburn have a very good chance of cutting the nets down. This might be Calipari's best Kentucky team he's had in a long time. Yeah, I don't know what it is about them, but they just look different. And obviously Auburn, another 1-point win at Georgia. They could have easily lost that game. They got a lot of calls down the end. But give them credit. They found ways to win the game. Rap Spot's expanding, folks. Go check out their second location in the heart of Gainesville at 1931 North Main Street. Rap Spot's teamed up with Vibrant Vinyl Works to offer color change wraps, advertising wraps, custom striping, hood wraps, and wall wraps. Speaking with JC on the Titan MR hotline, let's get to the Titan MR text line. We got some text here, JC. I need to read. Okay. Don't forget we'll have Scott Carter in the second portion of today's program if you got any questions. All right. This is from our good friend Daryl, and I was going to bring up Daryl because he's like our NASCAR correspondent analysis.
Sure.
He says, "Good morning, guys. Great weekend for the Gator men's and women's hoops, and NASCAR invades historic LA Coliseum." Did you see any of that, JC?
I know. I saw who won, and I looked at some pictures, but I didn't watch it. I was too busy out there hunting this weekend, QB.
Well, the race was last night, so you weren't hunting last night.
That's true.
It was the weirdest thing I've ever seen. They basically came into the LA Coliseum, paved the entire deal, paved it.
Yeah,
and
seems like waste.
that has to be some hard driving. Because I mean, by the time you go straight, you're turning. I don't know. I don't know enough about NASCAR, but it looked like the smallest racetrack I've ever seen.
I mean, when it makes Bristol look big, it is small, right? Because isn't Bristol that one with the stadium seating and the 1 mile trial, the 1 mile oval?
Well, what I'm saying is, this couldn't have been 1 mile. There's no way it was a mile around.
No, I don't. Yeah, I agree. I'm just saying.
I mean, it was basically like driving around the track.
Yeah.
I mean, like a track that goes around a football field. So 4 times around is a mile.
Yeah, that's
so. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen. Rick says it was a quarter mile, like what a track is, like the old days. So you're trying to tell me that's how they used to race? That's crazy, racing on a quarter mile track. But they paved the whole damn infield. Now I guess they come in there with bulldozers and dig it up and then lay side for the Trojans.
It just seems like.
Think Lincoln Riley was happy about that?
Yeah, I mean, it just seems like such a waste of money and time.
Oh, dude, it was packed. It was freaking packed.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then I guess maybe they got their money's worth. I mean, to pave something that even that small is just so much money. I just think that these little gimmicky things they do, especially with the hockey. The Winter Classic and playing hockey in a football stadium. I think it's more about just saying I was there than actually watching something that you can really hold on to, because it's hard enough to watch a hockey game in the upper deck of an arena. I wouldn't be able to watch one in a football stadium, but people do it. So, all right, cool. I don't.
Clay says it was over $1 million to pave the.
Yeah, I mean it's. Okay, I guess that's just small money for auto racing, So $1 million.
Well, it is. It probably makes more money than any other sport out there, right?
Yeah, I mean that doesn't mean a lot, but boy, that $1 million could do a lot in LA. Anyway, I think
we don't care about LA.
No, well, you do. You love the USC Trojans. That's your Pac-12 team. So
it is.
I'm gonna get you an SC hat, gold SC,
and I will never wear it.
I love Lincoln Riley shirt. So Caleb Williams is my man. Go Caleb.
I would never wear any of that stuff, but you would. We all know that.
No.
We all know that. So the other thing we wanted to bring up in the National Football League, if you missed it, the Jaguars have hired Doug Peterson. I can't remember when they hired him. I don't know if it was over the weekend.
Yeah, no, it was last week, QB. We talked about this.
I know, but I don't know if you were on the show. Maybe you were.
Yeah.
And then the Dolphins got their coach. He's like 32 years old, never played a down of football in his entire life, which doesn't mean anything. He was a kid. He went to Yale, and he was like an intern for the Broncos or something, and now he's the head coach of the Dolphins.
And he is a highly intelligent guy. He gets in front of the media and has word games with them. He'll go up to the podium. This is completely different than what anybody's used to. I've seen this Mike McDaniel.
Where did you see this?
I've seen this on the internet when he's given San Francisco 49er like media days, right? And he'll come out as the OC and they'll talk to him. He'll get up on the podium and he'll go like this. He'll go, guys, I'm ready for some fun. Let's talk. Let's get it going. I'm excited today. What's on everyone's mind today? And he's completely different than anything you've ever seen. And he's an extremely intelligent guy. He knows, I think, look, he worked for Kyle Shanahan, dude. So I think the guy, listen, I think Miami may have found something, because I just believe that guys with his attitude is always positive. And I like, he's the polar opposite of a loser like Adam Gates. He's completely different. I think Miami fans will really grab onto this guy. Now, of course, he's going to have to win, but I do believe it's going to be fun. And, they also just hired, he hired on his staff somebody we've all heard of. I'll tell you here in a minute. But, I think it's a good hire. I'll just say that. I think people will grab a hold of this guy because of his personality. Now, that doesn't mean they're going to win, but I think they're going to give him a chance, and I think they'll like him. So he just hired Josh Gaddis, Michigan.
Oh, he's the offensive coordinator for Michigan.
So Josh Gaddis left Harbaugh and is going to this guy in Miami. So the Michigan offensive coordinator.
Well, I would leave Michigan too to go coach in the National Football League because then you don't have to recruit. It's that
and you
simple.
don't have to play Ohio State. So yeah.
Well, you don't have to recruit. That's the number one goal. That's the number one problem or the difference between college and pro football. Real quick, we got a text here from Jimmy. Jimmy says, "Hey guys, y'all watch any of the Pebble Beach tournament?" I did. Tom Hoagie wins over Justice Spieth. Speaking of that, did you see the shot Justice Spieth had to hit off the cliff? Jordan
Spieth.
What did I call him?
Justin.
Yeah, but, that same guy. Same guy.
Justin Spieth had a shot. It was 65 feet above the bottom and on a cliff. I don't know, QB. If I'm like, you know me, I hate heights, right? I don't even like going up ladders. I think I may have taken an unplayable and moved it back 2 yards and told the caddy.
Yeah, because here's the thing. You just never know if your foot slips or
over.
If your club grabs and it messes your weight up. He would have been gone.
And then Justin Spieth hit it to the back of the green, QB.
Yeah.
Were you proud of Justin?
I was nervous as hell. I
was too. I mean,
here's the crazy thing. If people have not seen it, you go to Twitter or you could probably Google it. They got the little drone flying above him.
Yes.
Holy cow! It made me start sweating watching him get ready to hit that shot.
It was harrowing shot from Jordan Spieth.
By the way, your buddy Clay says on Facebook Live, and he is correct, and I can't believe I missed this. Josh Gaddis is going to the Miami Hurricanes, not the Dolphins.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I that didn't make sense, did it?
Well, it makes sense to me because I know what the difference between NFL ball and college ball. If I was Josh Gaddis, I'd be asking to go coach the Dolphins.
I mean, am I the biggest idiot in the morning right now?
You are. It's okay. Everybody makes mistakes, JC. Just absorb it and admit it.
I own it, right, QB? I own it. Look, Miami Dolphins football, Miami Hurricanes football, same losers. The thing is, though, is that the golf, was it not as predictable as the sun coming up that your boy Justin Spieth would brain fart on the 17th, bogey it, and then not birdie 18? I mean, him birdieing 18, the chances of him birdieing 18 after he bogeyed 17 were about as good as me from Gainesville. There was zero possibility of it happening. And I knew he lost it on 17 right there. And give Hoagie a lot of credit for that putt, dude. A little left to right bender. He rolled it in, and the tournament was over. Because that par 5 is easy. I mean, for these guys, it's really easy. They should be birding that hole. It's amazing how these par 5s are so easy these days if the rough isn't grown. It's too easy for them. They're too long.
I agree. It's anyway, we'll get to that at another time about golf at times. If you got joint pain in your knees, shoulders, hip, or back, they won't go away. You need to check out QC Kinetics for long-lasting relief. No surgery, drugs, or downtime. Schedule your free consultation at QC Kinetics, 352-400-4550. A couple other things I want to get to, JC. There's word out there that Coach O is going to end up in Alabama.
And the chances of that, again, happening were as good as Jordan Spieth birdieing 18. I mean,
why do you say that?
Because he said, according to this little thing, that there would be no chance he would coach there. I mean, imagine him going back to LSU wearing crimson. That would be hard to swallow.
I could easily see it happen.
I guess you could until I read where he said no chance. But
I don't think he said that. I think other people were quoting that he would say that.
You think
I never saw where he said that. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Maybe I read it wrong. JC, and I want to ask our listeners, how much of the Olympics have you watched?
Well, I walked into a restaurant/bar after playing tennis in the 40-degree weather yesterday, and it was on. So I had no choice there. I looked
what event was on? I have not watched one event.
The women's hockey team, which is a good event as there is in all of sports, really. Beating some team, Switzerland or somebody 8-0, something like that. So they are great. Women's hockey is really.
But we're not very good in it. I thought it was Canada was the team.
We're always playing Canada for the gold. That's pretty much where it gets to, and they've won it before. But I just haven't watched it, dude. It doesn't register. I don't think about it like I used to when it comes to the Olympics. So it's on me, I guess. Did you watch any?
No, I've not turned it on NBC yet, and I ain't going to.
I'm not either. I'm not going to watch it.
Dan says Muschamp went to Florida and he was a dog. I mean, I think Coach O will end up at Alabama as an analyst. You watch.
But why do you think that? Because you saw a story, or because you think he really wants to be?
I just think he's going to want to.
You do. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, look, prove me wrong. It wouldn't bother me at all. I mean, I think the guy's got a lot to offer at college athletics, and I think what he did at Southern Cal to me was one of the best things he's done as a coach, filling in, winning 10 games there, and he's supposedly quite a recruiter. Now, you say an analyst. What is that? So what?
Well, he can't recruit if he's an analyst, but I don't know if they.
Right.
I don't know what job openings they have there.
I think we're fueling speculation that is pretty wild right now, so I'm not sure that would happen. But, I guess coaches have to coach, right? A lot of them hate not doing something football related. And, he got paid, but to sit around the house, I don't think is something Ed Orgeron is into. So, yeah, I guess it wouldn't surprise me to see him back in the game. It would surprise me to see him at Alabama. But then again,
We got a text here on the Titan Mark text line from Daryl. Daryl wants, I'm going to have you explain this, JC. He wants to know what in the hell is curling?
It's kind of like shuffleboard on ice, dude. Think of it.
Pot.
Yeah, shuffleboard. And, there's a lot of strategy that goes into it. And you can watch this late at night with insomnia, and it would really not necessarily cure insomnia, but it would, I think, if anything, it would do the opposite. It'd keep you awake because you're sitting there trying to figure out what's going on, but it's interesting. And that's the best thing I can say. And it's only interesting during the Winter Olympics because nobody's going to sit around watching ABC's Wild World of Sports, even though I don't think they have that anymore, and watch curling. So I don't know. It's an Olympic event. You hope to see somebody win a gold medal, but it's interesting because we don't see much of it. So think of it as shuffleboard on ice, with a few nuances that make it different because of the ice.
Dan says curling is darts for Yankees.
Darts, yeah. Well, it is a predominantly northern sport, and it's kind of like bowling. You get these, I'll stereotype a bowler. Somebody overweight drinking a lot of beer and rolling a ball. And that's
a flower pot.
Well, in this case, sliding a flower pot with 3 pitchers of Miller Genuine and a little bit of a weight drop.
Our good friend Lauren Meadows here on Facebook Live says, brought to you by Melon. He says, my company is based out of Minnesota. They take the trainees curling during training.
Don't you love that? I mean, isn't that great? Yeah. I mean, sure. Anything ice related, babe. I think it's kind of neat. I do, but I'm not going to sit around on a random day watching it just during the Olympics. Although
all right, we got another text here on the Titan Mark text line from Ryan. He says, so Shane, I appreciate athletes or anyone for that matter who's dedicated to their craft. But your boy, Jordan Spieth, that is, took it to the extreme at Pebble Beach when he was on the verge of cliff diving.
Yeah.
Just take the stroke, bro. You got plenty of money in the bank. Great to see Castleton back and this team grinding out wins it's got to have. If their talent matched their determination to be a Final Four worthy. Thanks, Ryan, for the text. Yeah, that I'm telling you, man, that Justin Spieth thing had me like, I kept rewinding it on my phone. And I mean, my hands were getting all sweaty.
Yeah. It's crazy. The angle they show from the air looking back at him over that cliff, it's crazy. And, you say 65 feet's not that high. It's high, man. That's a 7-story building.
No, if he falls, he's dead.
He's dead. So how about, hey, I'll take a stroke, move it back 2 yards. That's how this guy would have played it because I hate cliffs, heights, buildings, ladders, all of it. Can't do it.
Yeah, Dan says on Facebook Live, he bets axe throwing will be the next Olympic sport.
Okay. Well,
that's the new thing at all these bars.
That's on that.
Axe.
Mm-hmm. Hey, I shot quail this weekend, QB, and I thought I was going to kill somebody. I mean, those birds.
Let's be glad you didn't kill somebody.
Well, no, I mean, I didn't do. Everybody was safety first, right? But I mean, when those things are flying, you really got to be careful not to do a Dick Cheney like this. Oh, shit. and there's a guy in an orange suit right behind it. I mean, you're locked in on that dumb bird, but I mean, man,
let's just be glad you didn't get close to shooting the hunting guy.
The hunting guy or anybody. But yeah, the dogs got to watch it too, because they're in front of you, right? They're flushing these birds or these quail, whatever, and watching this dog charge into a palmetto bush. I mean, go in there at full throttle and then come out, and then all of a sudden these things fly out is just amazing what these dogs are capable of. That's, I think, one of the biggest things I took away from my first ever in 57-year quail hunt was what these dogs were capable of doing, QB. It's amazing.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
It is amazing. All right, we got a text before we get you out of here, JC. We got a text on the Titan Mark text line. This is pretty good. It comes from Lawrence. Lawrence says, for the next week, you guys, the only TV you are able to watch are one of these three. Which would you choose? NASCAR, at watching the race at the LA Coliseum, the Pro Bowl, or the Olympics?
Yeah. Oh. Well, listen, I don't have any problem with Olympics. I have a problem with this year's Olympics, but I think I would pick Olympics.
Yeah.
I like watching the.
Well, I guess what he should have said was, you got to watch. You can't, only TV you can watch all week long are reruns of the NASCAR race at the LA Coliseum, reruns of the Pro Bowl, or reruns of curling only.
You know what? I'd pick curling.
No, make that figure skating.
Oh God. Well, that's if you want to know what purgatory is like, I think we just defined it. I don't know. Maybe figure skate. I mean, there is a science or a kind of a athleticism to that.
Oh, it's so hard what they do, but I can't watch it.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Hey, did the gymnastics team have anything going on? Well, Scott Carter will talk about it, but that's another.
Tennis is doing well. Softball cranks up Friday. Baseball the following week. We'll have Kevin O'Sullivan probably on this week as well. We got a busy week. But JC, before we get out of here, I'm going to read This Day in Sports, brought to you by our good friends at Comfort Temp. Comfort is our business. Peace of mind is our promise. They're hiring team members with all levels of experience. $1,000 signing bonus for qualified positions. Give Comfort Temp a call, 352-376-2366. You got any heating or air issues? Give Comfort Temp a call, JC.
Absolutely.
This Day in Sports 2010, Super Bowl in Miami, Florida.
Okay.
The Saints beat the Colts 31-17. Drew Brees is your MVP. You remember the big play of that game, JC?
The onside kick. Who would have thought?
Onside kick coming out of half.
The other one was Porter's interception that won it, basically. So those were the two that I remember. I think the Saints, after they had won that Super Bowl, I would have thought they had at least played in another and maybe even won another with Drew Brees and Sean Payton. And they came agonizingly close. And the biggest, heartbreaking loss had to be against Minnesota when Diggs caught that pass and went down the sideline with literally no seconds left as the corner or safety or whatever it was made a colossal mistake and tried to intercept the ball on the last play. So I don't think. Don't you think it was surprising the Saints didn't win another or didn't even play another?
I think people forget how hard it is to get there.
Yeah, that's true.
Daniel says on Facebook, like, JC, you are now a country boy.
What I saw this weekend was new to me, Daniel. Thank you very much. I gotta say, when I saw the guide that took us out there pick up this quail and twist it like this, and then throw away something here and put something in there, it just seemed barbaric. And it was just like, wow, that poor quail just got his head twisted off. But then again, he's a quail, so he's going to get shot.
Did that guy know what he was doing?
That guy was really good. I mean, he had to learn how to. We had another hunter named Jay who showed him how to drive the standard transmission of the GMC that wouldn't start in the morning. And the poor kid almost got a lesson in transmissions as we drove out there, because I heard words like hydraulic pressure, stuff like this. And I'm not sure the guide was into learning how to drive the standard transmission as he was getting these people out on the hunt there. But it was fun to watch, and it was an amazing thing I've never seen before, never done it. And again, I just couldn't get over the dogs. The dogs blew me away. So I think it's very If you ever get a chance, folks, to do something like that, I can scratch that off the bucket list now. Go ahead and do it. But you got to really be careful. I can see how there can be accidents on something like this. You got to go with people who know what they're doing. That's a fact.
Yep. And just so people know, that guy was my kid, my boy.
Yeah, Luke did a good job. He really did.
Hey, so real quick,
he got paid too, because the guys that
that's why he's the guide out there.
The guys that went on this hunt, they got, like, let's just say they got some cash. Okay.
Yes. Real quick, I forgot to mention this to you. I'm not sure you knew this, JC, but I talked to Tim Walton the other day, and Dan just brought it up. You do realize that the SEC softball tournament's finally in Gainesville.
I know, it's here. We've been waiting for years. It feels like we've been waiting for years for this. So that's absolutely going to be on the calendar this year for me, and I'm sure for you as well. So,
yep. Yeah. All right, JC, good stuff as always. Get ready. Wednesday, we'll have our Peach Lane Dentistry golf picks for the waste management.
And then we'll start looking at Super Bowl 56, I guess.
Yes. All right, guys, JC, join us on the Titan More hotline. Going to take a timeout, come back. We'll be joined by Scott Carter from FloridaGators.com to break down all the stuff happening with the Gator Nation. You're watching and listening to Pot Up with Matthews in the Morning.
We want to take this moment to thank all our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Meldon Law, won't back down. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. Comfort Temp, comfort is our business, peace of mind is our promise. QC Kinetics, live pain-free with QC Kinetics. Great Clips, it's gonna be great. Our Gridiron sponsors are Auto ER, UF Bookstores, Celebration Point Town Center, South State Bank, Chris Doring Mortgage, Silverback Concrete Co. Some of our touchdown sponsors are Campus USA Credit Union, Adams Rib Company, Doreen Wiebe Realtor, Caldwell Banker, MM Parish, Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Wrap Spot, Okido America, Gators Dockside, Style Cuts, Big Mills Cheesesteaks. If you are interested in promoting your business on the show, visit potupwithshane.com and click the advertise button. Again, thank you to all the great businesses that support the show. If you like what we are doing here, make sure you follow us and support the businesses that support us.
This is Steve Spurrier, and you're invited to hang out with me at the biggest watch party of the year.
You heard the head ball coach. You're invited to Spurrier's Gridiron Grill Sunday, February 13th for the biggest game of the year as Cincinnati takes on Los Angeles, and Spurrier's will be celebrating the game all day. The fun kicks off at 5:30 with the Coach Spurrier meet and greet, and football watch party begins. Then watch the big game at 6:40 p.m. But hurry, spots are limited. Make your reservations now at Spurriers.com. That's Spurriers.com.
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. Celebration points where the Gators go to celebrate with premium brands like Nike, Regal Cinemas, Le Macaron, Dave & Buster's, Medici's, Palmetto Moon, and the HBC's restaurant, Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. Now serving brunch on Saturday and Sundays. We'll see you at Celebration Point where the Gators go to celebrate. Don't forget, if you're looking for plans for the Super Bowl, you can go to Spurrier's. Coach Spurrier will be there, kissing babies, taking pictures, signing autographs with folks for your little Super Bowl party at Spurrier's. Our next guest, he's always getting pictures taken with Coach Spurrier. Scott Carter from FloridaGators.com. He's right down the hallway from the head ball coach. Good morning, Scott. How are you, my man?
Hey, good morning, Shane. Yeah, saw the HBC. I haven't seen him this morning, but I saw him at the women's basketball game against South Carolina. I remember seeing him and Jerry out there. So I'm sure he's got some good stories he'll be telling at that Super Bowl party.
Yeah, let's start with the women's basketball team, Scott. Phenomenal story right now with Kelly Ray Finley. They lose their so-called best player to the transfer portal, and they run off. I can't remember the last time they had a winning record in the conference and what they've done. I know you cover these girls. Just talk a little bit about just how they've turned it around and how they're upsetting all these ranked teams.
Yeah, well, the reason you can't remember some of that, Shane, is because it's been a long time since they've had a season like this, where they kind of come out of nowhere, to be honest with you. They were picked near the bottom of the SEC in preseason, and yet here they are. They won at Georgia on Sunday. I think they're 7-3 now in the league. They've won 6 of 7, 5 against ranked opponents, and you know what? They're going to crack the top 25 today for the first time since 2016. I mean, they're playing really good ball. You mentioned, it's been surprising in some ways, Shane, because obviously it's a program that was kind of in turmoil over the summer after the dismissal of Cam Newbauer, and then you got Kelly Ray Finley taking over on an interim basis, and you just didn't know what kind of team they were going to have. But and then Lavender Briggs, their best player, decided to enter the transfer portal after it was reported that she was going to miss the season because of injury anyway after about 10, 15 games. And it's really kind of looks to me like addition by subtraction. I mean, the Gators have just played some really good team ball, and whether it's Kiki Smith, Zippy Broughton, they're getting good play from everybody, Shane. But I think you got to give a lot of credit to Kelly Ray Finley, because anytime you're on an interim basis, I mean, you just don't know where it's going to go. But I think she's just kind of said, you know what, I'm going to make the most of this opportunity and see what I can do with it. And right now, what she is 17-6, headed to the top 25. And every time I say interim coach on Twitter, I always get hit up by these fans saying, remove the interim tag. So that decision will be made by another guy named Scott here at the UA. But she certainly has done her part to earn the job.
I mean, speaking of that, I mean, obviously it's got to be a no-brainer, right? I mean, it seems like, I haven't watched a lot of their games, I'll be honest, but the ones that I've watched, seems like she's got a great relationship with her players. It looks like they play extremely hard for her. And with the success, I mean, obviously, Scott's got to hire this girl to be the head coach for what she's done, right? I mean, there's no reason to do it now because the ball is rolling very well. No reason to change anything. Maybe they're a little paranoid if they were to do that. But don't you think it's got to be her job to lose?
I mean, certainly about what she's done with the team. Yeah, I mean, you're right about the team really responding to her. You can just see their energy. You could see it after the game. Yesterday up at Georgia, they win that game 52-51 or 54-51. I'm sorry. And I mean, the reaction on the court immediately after the game, that's a team that likes each other. It's a team that likes her coach. And Shane, everything she's done, it would point to her getting the job. It's just really, is there things that behind the scenes, that still in the wake of the kind of like the turmoil with the former coach. I mean, they're trying to, I'm sure, make sure there's nothing there that would be negative down the road. And I don't know of anything on my job here. I mean, I think she's done a great job, and I would be surprised right now as we're sitting here talking if she doesn't end up getting the job. But we'll see where it goes. I mean, like I said, that's really Scott Strickland and the UA administrative staff. That's they're called at the end of the day.
John says she's very good as a coach. Some of the in-game coaching moves are very good. Brandon says, seems like the girls trust her. And I agree with that. Scott, when you look at the other spring sports, I think swimming and diving's out at Auburn right now for a meet there. Tennis has been doing pretty well. Just tell everybody, I mean, between you and Chris Harry, Chris is more men's basketball right now, but you're having to cover all the other spring sports, correct?
Yeah, I bounce around while he's plugged into basketball. And, obviously I didn't expect to be locking in on the women's basketball team like I had the last couple of weeks. So I'm kind of focused on that. It's a great story. It's an unexpected story. Not only are they responding to their coach, but I see the fans responding to this team. And that's always fun to see when a story keeps getting better. But gymnastics, they're doing what they do. I mean, they're right at the top of the rankings. They're back home this weekend. They went out to Missouri and won on last Friday night. It's a team that's really loaded. You got, like you said, swimming and diving. You got the men's defending national champion men's tennis team cranking up. You got the big golf tournaments coming up here. They're only home golf tournaments at home in February. The men's and women's each hold the host. It used to SunTrust Invitational. I'm not for sure if that's still the name, but that's what it used to be called. And what else? I mean, softball's getting ready to start. So I always joke with people, Shane, I mean, it really is busier around here in the spring than the fall, even though, we know the attention's on the football, but there's a lot of good teams going right now. And I think the women's basketball team is the one that kind of has their imagination right now. But the men are turning it around too. They won 3 in a row, so that's good.
Yeah. So go back to gymnastics. Obviously, we know how good we are in gymnastics, and there's a lot of really good teams in the Southeastern Conference. I mean, when you go win these meets, it really doesn't mean anything. The only thing that matters to me, it seems like in gymnastics, is once you get into the tournament, what you do then, because you can pretty much tell who's going to be in the big dance, so to speak. Am I right or wrong about that?
Yeah, I mean, really it's about scoring and team scores, and that's how the rankings are composed. And you want to be certainly in that top 8, which the Gators are they appear to locked into that unless something very strange happens. But, with Trinity Thomas doing what she does, I think she went all around this past weekend and won her first time of the year. They've been holding her out in the event here and there just for her body maintenance, but she looks like she's fully healthy, and I think that's a huge difference maker. And they've had some injuries this year, but it's a team. They've got 18 gymnasts on the team. That's the most the program's ever had. So you can afford an injury here and there. And some of these newcomers that are dealing with, like Leanne Wong, a freshman. I mean, Shane, this is an Olympic level gymnast. So, if you've been following Florida gymnastics for 10, 20 years, the gymnasts that are coming into the program now because of the sustained success they've had and the new rules with the Olympians now being able to come to college for the, NIL opportunities that used to not be there. The upgrade in talent across the board in college gymnastics is phenomenal. I mean, and it's going to be interesting, like you said, like come later this year when all those teams get together, there's going to be some elite level performers there, and the Gators are going to be in that mix.
Yeah, I was going to ask you because I was flipping through the channels the other night, and Auburn, or maybe I was watching a basketball game, and they went to like a clip of the Auburn meet where I can't remember the girl's name that won the gold medal or whatever she won.
Lee, yeah,
she had like she had a 10 on one of the apparatus or whatever.
Yeah.
My question, I'm trying to remember. After I saw that, I'm like, how many female gymnasts in the past have gone to college to actually do their sport? I can't think of any.
Olympians?
Yeah.
On her level, I mean, yeah, not hardly any, because what they would do, Shane, if you're an Olympic gymnast like a Mary Lou Retton or a Simone Biles, and you got to take advantage of that opportunity right after the Olympics, whatever financial endorsements you can get when you're hot. But if you went to college, well, you couldn't compete in college, or because of you're trying to get paid on a professional level, so you automatically were ineligible. But now with the rules being different, now they can compete in college right after the Olympics and kind of take advantage of that name, image, and likeness opportunities, and still compete collegiately. So I mean, it really is a win-win situation for them. So that's why you're seeing these bigger names coming into college gymnastics, and it's upgraded the sport. It's a great TV product. ESPN, the SEC network loves it, and I'm going to say I'm very impressed that you just used the word apparatus. I mean, that's impressive.
Yes. I don't know which apparatus it was, but it was one of them.
Well, you've obviously been watching the sport a little bit.
Yes. I'm gonna say I love gymnastics. I respect it. I can't believe I don't think if you've never really saw how wide one of the balance beam is, it's crazy the stuff they do. But it drives me crazy because of the judging portion of it. It's no different than the umpire calling holding on a touchdown pass. It drives me crazy. Yeah. That's just the sport. At Chris Doring Mortgage, they do mortgage lending right, helping home buyers throughout Gainesville and North Central Florida. Call Chris Doring Mortgage today at 352-244-0840. Speaking with Scott Carter for a few more minutes here on the Titan MR Hotline. Facebook Live brought to you by Mel Law. Andy wants me to ask you if Trey Freeman can beat Bobby Fink in the 1,000-yard freestyle at the NCAAs.
Oh, man. I mean, it's going to be a good race, but I'm going with Bobby Fink after what I saw him do in Tokyo, man. That guy's a closer. So we'll see if he can repeat his magic, but he'll be a favorite, and he's doing what he's doing. I mean, he's another example, of a great performance in the Olympics and still can come back and compete. And I think it's great for really both sides for college sports because they're getting these marquee names and athletes, and obviously for them individually.
Okay, we've got a bunch of our Facebook Live listeners. They obviously are on top of this more than I am, but they said a Michigan women's swimmer won gold and came back. I know a lot of swimmers have won medals and come back and swim for their teams. I mean, Dara Torres back in the day. I mean, we've had a ton of those. I just had never heard of the gymnast portion.
Yeah, I mean, most of them just, it's also a sport where, quite frankly, in gymnastics, a lot of them retire young. I mean, you know, you're 18, 19-year-old. That's like a 42-year-old baseball player, man, in gymnastics. So, but now they're extending their careers because they can. In college gymnastics, the techniques that are used aren't as demanding as the elite performers, but now they're bringing some of those techniques to college. So it's kind of an interesting marriage of the two. But yeah, there certainly have always been Olympians who have come back to college and performed. But we just haven't seen that so much in gymnastics. Most of your Olympic gymnastics over the years, quite frankly, a lot of them never went to college because they get on that track when they're 10, 11 years old, and they go off to whatever camp that their country is, and that's just their life, you know? I mean, it's just a different kind of culture in that sport.
Yeah, no question. We got a text on the Titan Mar text line for you, Scott. It comes from Steven. He says, Scott, who on the Lady Gator women's basketball team is their Colin Castleton? I guess he's referring to maybe like the emotional leader.
Yeah, you know, just from what I've seen, I mean, Kiki Smith is clearly the leader as a player, as a, you know, locker room presence. I mean, she's not maybe as emotional as Colin Castleton. You know, Jordan Merritt, she carries a lot of emotion out there. She's a sophomore forward. You know, she had some big shots outside yesterday in the win over Georgia. So, you know, I look maybe her, but I think Kelly Ray Finley is also pretty emotional. I mean, she gets into it. You know, if you watched her some now, I mean, she's an emotional kind of coach. Not so much in game, but it comes out in her, just the way she interacts with her players. So, you know, Castleton, man, he's an interesting one because he's definitely turned up the volume a little bit while he was out. You know, from when they were keep showing him on the sideline, you know, cheering on the team, and now he's back, and it didn't really change on court the other day. He had a couple of moments there where you could tell he fired up his team.
And the last thing for you before we let you go, text on the Titan Mar text line from Sharon. She says, Scott, what is your favorite spring sport at UF to cover?
Well, I mean, you know, I'm a big baseball fan, obviously. They have a great program, so I know the most about baseball, but I really have enjoyed the gymnastics. I mean, I'll be honest with you, when I took this job, I'd never been to a gymnastics meet. And I'm like, okay, let's go over here and check it out. And then I see that there's 8,000 or 10,000 people in the building every night. And I'm like, wow, people are really into this. And then you've seen the evolution of these athletes. I mean, you know, for my money, I say pound for pound, the gymnasts are by far the best athletes on campus. What they do and how they do it. I mean, they're amazing athletes. They're a great coach to deal with, and Jenny Rowland, just great people to deal with in general, and it's fun to see a sport that's growing. I did a story a couple weeks ago on when they were on live on ABC against Alabama. It was the first ever NCAA regular season meet on TV, and I was talking to Bart Carter, who's a famous U.S. gymnast, and he was saying, man, ESPN loves this sport. It's the fastest growing TV sport with that and women's softball, and you see it in the way the reaction is on social media and the ratings. I mean, it's only going to continue to grow, especially when what we're talking about earlier, Shane, with these elite athletes now coming into the sport.
Yeah, the two best TV sports, no question, are women's softball and women's gymnastics. Scott, 1 minute. We're going to have Sully on either this week or next week, but John asked, Scott, can you give us a breakdown of Sully's team? Make it a small, quick assessment.
Well, just take it 50-50. 50% of the players you'll know, about 50% you won't know. The roster is I think they have 18 newcomers. But the names you know are going to be Judd Fabian, who's obviously an All-American candidate in center field. He's being joined by his brother Derek Fabian. So if those two brothers from Ocala produce like they've been in the past, man, it's going to be quite a 1-2 punch. Josh Rivera's back. So you got some familiar names. I think the big question for me is who's going to be in the starting rotation after Hunter Barco, the lefty at the top of the rotation. After him, it's a lot of young arms, but one thing I know about Sully, he develops pitchers, and generally, when you look at his teams, but from the first of the year to the end of the year, they generally, some players really get better. It always reminded me of what Billy Donovan used to do at Florida. His teams just seem always to get better. The players individually got better, which makes the team better. So we'll see if Sully can work some of that again this year.
Good stuff as always, Scott. We appreciate you joining the program. If you want to follow Scott on Twitter at Gators Scott. We'll talk to you soon, buddy.
All right. Thanks, guys.
That's Scott Carter. Join us on the Titan MR hotline and take our final time out. Come back, wrap up this Monday edition.
We want to take this moment to thank all our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Meldon Law, won't back down. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. Comfort Temp, comfort is our business, peace of mind is our promise. QC Kinetics, live pain-free with QC Kinetics. Great Clips, it's gonna be great. Our Gridiron sponsors are Auto ER, UF Bookstores, Celebration Point Town Center, South State Bank, Chris Doring Mortgage, Silverback Concrete Co. Some of our touchdown sponsors are MB Listing, McDonald's of Gainesville, My IT Masters, Gainesville Neon and Signs, 84 Lumber, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, Avera and Smith, Dowling Signs, Baker's Sporting Goods, Ruse Ogra Agent, State Farm Insurance, Silver Cube Billiards and Sports Bar. If you are interested in promoting your business on the show, visit potupwithshane.com and click the Advertise button. Again, thank you to all the great businesses that support the show. If you like what we are doing here, make sure you follow us and support the businesses that support us.
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. Large enough to serve you, small enough to care. At South State Bank, we understand that small businesses need a community business partner that they can rely on. South State has 4 convenient Alachua County locations. South State Bank, banking for member FDIC. I want to thank JC and Scott Carter for joining us on the Titan MR hotline. John says, QB, how does the Doug Peterson hire affect Trevor Lawrence? I think it's a great hire. I think Doug Peterson, he's very similar to my career. Sat on the bench for a long, long time as a backup, knows the game very, very well. Has won a Super Bowl, had multiple quarterbacks. I think it's a great hire for Trevor Lawrence. Rick says Trevor will get cut. No, that's hilarious. No way. I think Doug. Now, look, are the Jaguars going to turn it around like Cincinnati Bengals in year 2? I don't think so. The Bengals have way better skill players across the board before Joe Burrow got there. They've got to add run. Now, ETN, I think James Robinson's an okay running back. I don't think he's a starting running back in the National Football League. We'll see what ETN can do coming off his injury. But the biggest thing for the Jags, they've got to find some playmakers on the outside to help Trevor Lawrence. But I love the Doug Peterson hire just because of his offensive mind and how he can handle quarterbacks and call plays. So I think Dan says Tony to Jags. Tony would be a good guy to put there, but they have to trade for him. And I don't know what kind of money the Jags have out there. I know they had a lot of money under the cap last year and didn't use it properly. So we shall see. But it's a big improvement over what they had from last year. Andy says Kadarius to the Bucks. I didn't know he was up for trade. Interesting. So anyway, hope you enjoyed today's program. Tomorrow we'll have Buddy Martin and Mark Wise talking college basketball. Today's show's a wrap, brought to you by Wrap Spot. We'll see you tomorrow, folks.